Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy, and I'd like to direct your attention in Idaho versus Koberger to two documents that were filed by the Intervenors. This is the Media Coalition, and this is dated June 8th, 2023. One is a reply concerning cameras in the courtroom, and the other is a reply concerning the non-dissemination order. Procedurally, what is a reply? Let's go back. Media Coalition files a motion to set aside the amended non-dissemination order that's been in effect since January. They give their reasons why. They say that this violates the First Amendment, that they're not able to do their job, that it impacts freedom of the press, which is one of the 5 freedoms in the First Amendment. And then we see the other side, this is the defense and the state, submitted their responses. And they're both on the same side on this issue. They want this non-dissemination order to remain in effect. And they come back and they argue, no. Media Coalition, Intervenors, they got it wrong. This does not violate the First Amendment. It's not overly broad. It's not vague. It's not all of the things that we've talked about in this continuing series that the Media Coalition has raised and that people do raise when there's an attack on a gag order regarding speech. So we've had the motion, which is the application for the order. That's the initiating paper. We have the response where the other side who oppose it, they file their responses and they tell why, Judge, you need to leave this non-dissemination order in effect. And now the final paper is the reply. This is where the Media Coalition is coming back and responding to what the state and what the defense, they're both on the same team here, have said. They can't start all over again. A reply simply responds to the prior paper, which is the response in opposition. So here they talk about such things as, well, of course, they're going to say that the state and defense have gotten it wrong. This violates the First Amendment. And they bring up an interesting point here, because a lot of what the state and Mr. Koberger have been asserting is the avalanche of publicity, that there's been so much publicity. This is a high-profile case. There's been all of these articles, all of these documentaries, all of these news stories, and that's prejudicing. That is impacting Mr. Koberger's right to a fair trial, which he 100% has, as we've talked about time and time again, under the Sixth Amendment. And whenever we have a gag order and somebody's trying to get it lifted, the other side wants it in effect, it's going to always be a butting of the heads of the First versus the Sixth Amendment. And so what the Media Coalition is saying is, look, state and defense are both arguing that because there's a lot of publicity out there about this case, that makes it prejudicial to Mr. Koberger. That's not true, is what the Media Coalition says. They are saying that the fact that there is so much interest in this case and it's generated an avalanche of press coverage locally, nationally, and internationally, that in and of itself is not impacting Mr. Koberger's Sixth Amendment right, and or the fact that this gag order goes so far, the interests of justice weigh in favor of the First Amendment, so this gag order needs to be set aside. If you'd like to read these papers, please follow the link that I have provided to you in the description of this podcast. I really urge you to please read it, because we're going to be having a hearing coming up soon, and this way you'll have further information on what all of the sides are saying here. This is Kathy. Thank you for joining us here at the Indie Zone.